Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is of course that second time of the year where I need to swap my wardrobe over to suit the next two seasons ahead. So here is my wardrobe in its spring-summer phase, and today I'll be switching it to autumn-winter. And whilst I have this down to quite a fine art now, I'll also be having quite a big clear out so that I can streamline things a bit more. As usual, my first step is to start with my main rail, where I currently have dresses, shirts and skirts. And I'm going to remove everything hanging on this rail and transfer it to a portable rail which I have set up in the room next door. I'm just clearing the space so that I have somewhere to put the new season items. Once all my summer dresses are hung in the other room, I then go through my shirts. I often have a couple of shirts that I keep out all year round, just to cover those slightly warmer early autumn days, so I'm leaving those on the rail for now whilst I move on to clearing my skirts, and again popping those on the spare rail in the room next door. Here I have all the items which are going to be staying out, but as I want to clean this section, for now I'm just going to remove them and pop them to one side. And then removing the final items, so these basket bags and my summer hats, so that they can be packed away for another 6 months. I dust and hoover regularly in here as part of our weekly cleaning routine, but when I do my switchovers, I give the surfaces a clean with some spray, which can often remove any scuffs as well as dust. Now this section is clean, I'm hanging those shirts back so that they're not in my workspace, and then I need to free up some coat hangers for all the items that will be coming out of storage. So all the summer shirts that I put in the other room earlier will have hangers removed, and then I'll leave them in a pile to pack away later on. I usually keep my categories together as it makes things easier when packing away and also when getting them out of storage. My hangers will now sit on this rail, ready for when my storage tubs come out. I work in sections when doing this first bit, so now I'm moving on to my trouser hanging section. Again, following the same process, I remove everything from the rail so that I can give it a clean. Most of my trousers that were in this section are linen, so they're definitely going away for the autumn-winter months, but I did keep out a couple of pairs of cargo trousers as I have a trip in January where I'll need some lighter clothing. I had 2 pairs of trousers which could stay out for autumn-winter, so they went back on the rail before starting the next hanging section on the right. Here I have blazers, cardigans, and I even squeezed in my shorts on the end. So for this last section, I'm repeating the process of editing down what stays and then what goes into storage. Hanging the storage items in the other room and temporarily moving the items which are staying out to the central rail so that I can have a quick clean of that area. All of my shorts would normally go into storage, but again, I will need some for my trip in January. So to save me getting my storage tubs out in the middle of winter, I'm just going through and selecting a few pairs to keep out, which I'm going to store in my suitcase with any other items for that trip. Now that's done, I'm moving my cardigans and blazers back to their rightful rail. Now that I've finished editing down all hanging sections, I'm going to spend a bit of time gathering hangers from the items hung on the rail and any piles that I made in the other room. Those 3 hangers then go into the designated hanging areas. And here is what we're looking like so far. First in the wardrobe, and then the organised chaos of the room next door. I do have some new trousers which I bought recently, and I'll be sharing those properly in a what's new in my wardrobe video this month, but as I have those out and to hand, I'm going to start with hanging those in the trouser section, so then I can see how much space I have. Now I'm going to move on to my shoe shelves on the left hand side. I'm removing all of those summer sandals which definitely aren't going to be needed during winter. The bonus of us using a PAX wardrobe system in here is that you can adjust fixtures within each section. For my shoe area, this is really useful because summer sandals don't take up as much space in terms of height, but autumn-winter boots do. So I'm removing some shelves to make room for boots and then cleaning the shelves which are left. I haven't ventured into any of my drawers or the bag cupboards yet, but now it's time to get my autumn-winter wardrobe storage tubs out so that I can assess how much space I need. I currently have 7 storage tubs filled with boots, coats, knitwear, various other clothing, and of course cold weather accessories. I'm first starting with this footwear tub, going through the contents, which I haven't seen in 6 months, and assessing if it's something that I want to keep or if it's going to go. All of the keep boots are going out on our landing, which is where I earlier stored all of the sandals that I cleared off the shelves, so that I can see what space I'll need and if I need to reconfigure the height of any of the shelves. Onto my second tub, and this is the first of 4 tubs of coats. All of my coats are stored in garment bags when they go into storage, and this helps keep them protected and fresh. My coats have never come out smelling musty or have any pest damage to them, so I stick to this process of storing them. So one by one I'm getting out my coats, and if I decide it's a keeper, then it's going on my main hanging rail, which can accommodate the length of a coat. If it's not a keeper and I've decided to let it go, then I'm still removing it from the garment bag and hanging on a hanger. These are then going on the rail in the other room, which I earlier cleared, so that I can steam them and photograph them ready to sell. I will be selling on Vinted and any higher priced designer items on Vestiaire, and links to my profiles for both of those platforms are below in the description box. Getting stuck into another tub, this one has some cold weather accessories, which for now I'm just going to make piles of so that I know how much space I'll need once I've edited these down and cleared some out. And then doing the same for every other tub, this one for example being knitwear and some trousers. Any items that I'm keeping will be added to the relevant rails, and then any items that will be stored in drawers will go into piles. And now I really do need to make a start on those drawers. First, with my denim drawer. Pulling out the denim that I only really wear in the warmer months and leaving any denim that I can wear throughout autumn winter. I've kept 2 pairs of spring-summer jeans to one side, again for my trip in January. The next drawer to be edited down is my basic t-shirt drawer. I'll keep a handful of basics out so that I'm covered if we get any warm weather in autumn, like we're due next week, and they're also good as a base layer under knitwear. All excess t-shirts are removed and put in the other room with everything else, which will eventually be packed away. I have a drawer of basic vests below my t-shirt drawer, so I'm doing the same in that drawer and then combining any basics left to one drawer. This frees up the below drawer for my cold weather accessories like scarves, snoods, beanie hats and gloves. Now on to the most hefty task, which is my knitwear drawers. I have 4 drawers of knitwear, and even in spring summer I keep a lot of it out because I always find that I do end up wearing some of it. Knitwear is definitely my guilty obsession. I just can't get enough of the stuff. I'm very much an autumn girl, so I love sweater weather and I do wear a lot of knitwear. That said, I could, very begrudgingly, let some go. I have some cotton summer knitwear, so I'm removing that as that can go into storage until next year, but I'm also reluctantly culling some knitwear, which I haven't worn as much as other pieces. I give my drawers a hoover out as knitwear can create a fair bit of fibre dust, and then I'm designating this first knitwear drawer to basic knitwear. This tends to be my thinner knits, which usually act as my basics, like t-shirts and vests in summer, but for the colder months. I have a really chunky knitwear drawer at the bottom, which fills up quite easily with super chunky knits. And of course I have some new knitwear to fit in because I just can't help myself. Fortunately, I have managed to cull more than I've bought, so I'm on the right track. I have some designer footwear which I keep stored in the original boxes between seasonal switches, so I'm just getting those out before then starting to add them to my shoe shelves. It often takes a bit of rejigging because I do like things to sit in categories and I like them to run from light to dark. So, for example, I like snow boots to be sat together, lace-ups to be sat together, etc. Now on to my bag cupboards. This is definitely more full during the spring-summer months because I do have a lot of seasonal bags like basket bags and canvas bags, all of which can now come out ready to go into storage as I won't need those over autumn-winter. I also have a few leather bags which I know I don't use, so they can go into my selling pile, and this is why I'm removing all bags from the cupboard so that I can reorganise what I eventually have left after the cull. My smaller bags are kept in the slimmer cupboard on the end, and again some of those can be culled. After assessing what bags I have left, I've realised I have quite a bit of spare space, so I'm going to create myself a little Disney cupboard. I usually keep my Disney wardrobe in a suitcase as I only wear these items when I'm in the parks, which I do like to visit a few times a year. So my Loungefly park bags can now sit on this top shelf, and then I have various t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies and spirit jerseys which I'll pile together to sit on the bottom shelf. In the main two larger cupboards, I'm then going to reorganise the bags I have left, with larger bags on the left and smaller bags on the right. Looking at the space I have left, I have a feeling that my ever-growing Disney collection may well move into this larger cupboard on the right, and then my smaller bags can go back into that thinner cupboard where they started. As many of you will have seen in previous videos, I do have an extra cupboard just outside my wardrobe, and I use this as my shoe overflow cupboard, but it is mainly full of my beloved trainer collection. I have some summer sandals in a compartment hanger on the back of the door to this cupboard, so these are coming out as they will also go into storage until next year. Now I must say, before packing away any summer items, I have also been culling those as well, just to save me a task next year when I do my next switch. Now that all of my autumn-winter items are in their rightful place within my wardrobe, it is time to face the piles and piles of clothing and shoes which all need to be put into storage tubs and shoe boxes. As I mentioned earlier, I like to keep categories together, so I have shoes and bags in one tub, shirts, trousers and some skirts in another, dresses in a tub, and then finally my basics and some odds and sods in the final tub. And I have room in each tub so they're not fully stuffed to the brim, which means I have had a very successful clear out. And so that is another wardrobe switchover done. I'm ready for the autumn-winter seasons ahead, and I'm pretty pleased with how much I reduced it by. Again, items that I'm selling will be on Vinted and any designer items on Vestiaire, and links to my profiles on both of those platforms will be down below in the description box, along with a few links to anything shown a little bit closer up during this video. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.